Something's gone wrong with the island. Dinosaurs have gained mythical powers, and no one knows how. But what we do know is that these powers feel more primal. Rexes have acquired the powers of God and anime. Hell sheep walk the earth. Monkeys are throwing explosive poop. You got xenomorphs, dragons, and giant monkeys with chainsaws. And the only way to save the Ark is for this idiot to beat the entire Primal Fear mod, all in 100 days. But considering the mod I'm playing... Aw, hello little guy, how are you doing?
Hey yo, what the...
Yeah? This isn't gonna end well. Day 1 of Ark. There's nothing quite like waking up on a beach alone with only a pair of underpants to defend myself.
Help me!
But I didn't have any time to worry about that, because if I wanted to beat Primal Fear in 100 days, I had to get down to business. However, before I could begin anything, I had to get rid of all these useless skins in my inventory. Get out of here.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And with that distraction out of the way, I began the process that every other Ark player goes through on their first day, which is to gather up any resource I could get my hands on. However, Ark didn't seem to like that idea, because while I was gathering up some resources, I ran into this guy right here. You see that right there is a demonic parasaur. Yeah, I'ma stay away from that one. Thankfully though, these guys only attack you if you provoke them, so we should be all good. Right? So, after I got done putting some distance between me and the demonic parasaur, I'd made myself up a temporary base camp, and I found this little guy, just wandering around. So I knocked him out, tamed him up, and named him the most creative name I could think of. Jeb. Sometimes my creativity, it's almost frightening. But apparently Ark appreciated my creative genius because it gave me this pteranodon. And well, who am I to say no to such a generous gift?
Man, I'm dead.
Well, now that I have some time to kill while I wait for this bird to be tamed up, what better way to spend my time than to pick a fight with a toxic parasaur? The reason why I'm challenging this toxic parasaur to a fight is because once you beat these guys, you can harvest them up for some toxic blood. And believe me when I say this, I'm gonna need a lot of that for the future. And so, me and this parasaur engaged in mortal combat. It took me a little while, but after some back and forth, I was finally able to take it down. How do you like me now, parasaur? And would you look at that? My bird tamed up as well. Man, things are going pretty good for me on day 1. Maybe this mod is easier than I thought.
Oh no.
What? Oh, Dodo! What the f- Should have expected that one. Day 2 started out with me looking for another bird. Since my previous one just got nuked out of existence, it took me a little while, but I was able to find myself another bird, knock it out, and tame it right up. Once I was done with that, I proceeded to pack up my starter base and began to search for a new permanent base spot. It took me a little while, but eventually I was able to find this nice little cliff area where nothing would be able to get me. I hope. Once I was done with that, I proceeded to get on my bird and just scout out the local area just to see what kind of shenanigans were going down. And let's just say, it be wildin' out here. But apparently I didn't care about the literal nukes going off right next to me, because I thought this would be the perfect time to land for some stamina. And this right here is the point where Ark decided it had enough of my existence. Because, well...
What's up,
What the f- Oh god, no. No! No! You know, why do I even bother at this point? Well, that's just great. I just lost my bird, again, and apparently, I forgot to place a bed at my new base. Yay! So now that I'm back down to square one again for the third time, I did the same routine of find bird, knock out bird, tame bird,
You're mad. I'm back.
and hope I don't spontaneously combust. Thankfully though, I didn't suddenly explode, and I was able to find myself a permanent base spot. Day 3 started out with me and my bird doing a little explorer note run. Gotta get ourselves them sweet levels. Then I farmed up some crystals so I can finally make myself an awesome spyglass. Yes! I have finally acquired the ultimate power! Yeah, okay, that was a bit lame. So, after I got over my awesome spyglass, I stayed on the mountain to farm up some metal to take home with me, and then once I arrived home, I used that metal to make myself the primal smithy, because, well, I'm gonna need to progress in this mod somehow, and then I did more farming. Yay. However, I had to quickly stop farming because I spotted an alpha thorny dragon just walking into my turf trying to assert its dominance, and I am not having any of that. So, using my elite aiming skills, I was able to slowly whittle down this alpha thorny dragon's HP until finally my bird and I were able to land the killing blow. So now, with the thorny dragon taken care of, I got to work on making myself a makeshift farm because I'm going to be needing to make a lot of kibble, which was actually the next thing I did, because after I got my farm set up and waited around for a little bit, I was finally able to make myself my first toxic kibble. To celebrate this glorious achievement, I grabbed a toxic dodo that was just chilling on the beach, proceeded to put it to sleep, and after feeding it the kibble, we finally got ourselves our first toxic dino. Ah, it feels good to start making some real progress in this mod. And now, we gotta wait around for more eggs. Yeah, this is gonna take a little while, isn't it? Day 4 started out with me finally getting some toxic eggs. It only took me 30 minutes, which is why I knew I had to speed this process up. So to do that, I tracked down another toxic dodo, knocked it out, and tamed it right up. Then I found another toxic dodo, repeated the same process, and now I have 3 toxic dodos. Now that is what I call progress. So after my mini taming episode, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself, so I decided to run around on the beach for a little bit. And this led me into an alpha dodo, and apparently it wanted to fight.
Get your ass back here, boy.
So I did the only logical thing I could do. I trapped it in the bola and chopped it up with my sword. Ha, I love bolas. So, after that fight with the alpha dodo, I decided I was gonna head back home to base. But, I ran into this guy along the way home.
The One Piece.
Yeah, I'm not fighting that guy. So in order to avoid the knockoff One Piece villain, I decided I was gonna use the ocean and just swim around it. But apparently, I forgot that there's sharks in the water, and one of them came up from behind me and stripped all of my clothes off. Yeah, I think I'm done with today. So to finish off day 4, I knocked out this level 180 bird that was just chilling in my base, and I also knocked out this alpha dilo. Day 5 started off with me making some alpha kibble so I could finally tame up that alpha dilo that I left on the beach. And with this team, we have now finished 1% of primal fear. Great. So, after my crushing realization, I decided I wanted to upgrade my farm, so I got to work on making myself a greenhouse. But I didn't have enough crystal for it. So in order to fix that, I went over to the redwoods to farm me up some crystal. Once I got enough crystal for my greenhouse, I made my way back to base, but on the way back, I found this oviraptor just chilling on the beach. So I brought it back home with me and knocked it out. Once I was done with that, I went to work making more greenhouse walls, and a little while later, I got myself a proper farm. And to finish off day 5, I tamed up that oviraptor and got to work adding some defenses to my base. Day 6 started out with me and my bird just flying around and scouting out the local area when I found this primal tech trike getting closer to my base. And since I'm nowhere near strong enough to fight this thing right now, I did the next best thing of luring it into the water so it would drown. But while doing this, I may have gotten just a bit bit cocky because, well... Oh, god damn it, I'm dead. Oh, come on, dude. Yeah, so, I think I need to get something a little bit stronger. Thankfully, though, I had an idea of the next tame I wanted to get, an alpha pteranodon. So I grabbed the alpha kibble I made before and set out to find myself an alpha bird. And it didn't even take me long at all until I was able to find one and knock it out. Huh, well that was a bit easy. Maybe my luck is finally turning around.
What the hell? Watch out, watch out, watch out!
I can't have anything nice, can I? Well, that's just great. I had myself an alpha pteranodon for a whopping 2 seconds. And now I gotta go find another one. Yay. Thankfully, though, it didn't take me long at all to find myself another alpha pteranodon. And after I knocked it out, I fed it some alpha kibble, and we finally got ourselves an alpha bird. And let me just say, this alpha pteranodon packs a mean punch.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like this guy a lot. Day 7 started out with me and my bird just doing a little quick metal run, because it's never a bad thing to have too much metal. Once we returned to base, I made myself a grill, then I went right back out to farm up more metal and obsidian. The reason for me farming obsidian this early in the game is because I needed to make some polymer, so I can make myself not only a fridge, but a mining drill. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that this thing is an absolute unit. Farming materials isn't gonna be a problem for us anymore. Day 8, I finally got to work making myself an actual base, instead of my usual slab of stone. It did take me a little bit to get all the walls crafted, but it was worth it because I finally got myself an actual base. Now I can get to work on my next goal, advancing into the next stage of primal fear, the elementals. This is the tier where I can tame dinos that can shoot fire, ice, lightning. Hell, they can probably even shoot out ice cream too. So I got to work on making myself a trap, and I set out on an adventure to go find myself my first elemental. And not even 2 seconds later, I got to work setting this trap up, because apparently there was a fire parrot just chilling on the beach. And once my trap was set up, I started the long, painful process of trying to lure this stupid parrot into the trap. Just go in! So after 20 minutes of failure and pain, the fire parrot finally went into the trap and I was able to knock it out. Oh, thank God. Now the only thing left to do was just feed this parrot some elemental kibble, and now we got ourselves a fire-breathing parrot, baby. Whoo! That was painful. On the morning of day 9, I knocked out this alpha. The reason for this is because I can't currently ride my fire parrot until I make its saddle, which requires elemental hide. So hopefully this boy right here is gonna help me take down some elementals. So after taming this boy up, I made its saddle and we set out on an adventure to find ourselves our first elemental. And luckily for me, the first elemental I found was this low-level electric parrot. So after a little bit of me and the electric parrot just wailing on each other, we were able to take it down and finally get our hands on some elemental hide. But I still need a little bit more. So the search for more elementals continued, and the search for another elemental took me all the way till the end of day 9, where I didn't find another one. But what I did find was this high-level alpha pteranodon, which I happily tamed up, because you can never go wrong with having some backups. Because we all know how fun and fair this game is. And on day 10, after harvesting another elemental parrot for its hide, I finally had enough to where I can make my fire parrot saddle. Finally, I can now use my fire parrot. And what better way to test this boy out than to go on a killing spree? And man, let me say this, it feels real good to wield this kind of fire power. Yeah, that was That was bad. And so, for the remainder of day 10, me and my fire parrot proceeded to establish our dominance over the local dino population. I did, however, pause my rampage to knock out this low-level female parrot in hopes to start my elemental egg farm. Before taming it though, I went back to base to make up some jerky thanks to the dehydration mod, and with the jerky I made more elemental kibble, tamed this electric parrot, and I also named my fire parrot Peter. Man, I am so creative. And to finish off day 10, I went over to the volcano to farm me up some crystal. Day 11 was a day of disappointment. You see, when I tamed these two parrots, I thought they would lay elemental eggs, which I need in order to make apex kibble. The problem is, they don't lay eggs. So not only did I waste my time taming these two, but now I have to go out on a search again for more elementals. Great. And the search for more elementals took me to day 12, where I found this fire featherlight. The only problem is that the mountains aren't exactly the safest place to be. So I had to try to rush this featherlight tame. But surprisingly, things were looking pretty good. I was able to knock it out, but as soon as I ran over to actually tame it, Ark happened. God, I love this game! Well, that's just great. My featherlight and I just got nuked out of existence, and Peter probably died as well. What the shit was that? Thankfully though, I was smart enough to tame a backup fire parrot, but I, once again, have to go and find more elementals. Damn it. Day 13, I was able to track down another fire featherlight.
I'm back, bitches!
And much like my first attempt, things were looking pretty good. I was getting close to knocking it out. I was feeling pretty good about myself, but also like my first attempt, things went south real quick. And by south, I mean a goddamn manticore just came out of nowhere and started to attack my featherlight. But I was not gonna let this featherlight die, so I did the only thing I could do. I whipped out my primal shotgun, channeled my inner Terminator, and shot the shit out of this manticore. And surprisingly, this worked. Woo! Now that is what I'm talking about. I was finally able to save one of my dinos. Ark gods, thank you. Day 14 was a pretty chill day. I didn't really do much except make some sap collectors because I wanted to make myself a primal sniper rifle. So after getting everything set up, I went over to the redwoods, put down my sap collectors, and after waiting around for like 20 minutes, I was finally able to get me some tree sap. Once back at base, I was able to make myself my primal sniper rifle, and I also made myself an augment station, so I would be able to upgrade my rifle. And to finish the day off, I was finally able to make some apex kibble. I set out with a goal of taming me some apex dinos, and while looking for some to tame, this happened.
NANI?
You know, starting to get real sick of these dragons. They're like gnats, they just won't piss off. And to make matters worse, I'm pretty sure that was my last parrot too. Damn it. So, now that my only fire parrot died, for the remainder of day 15, I searched for more elementals and apex dinos. I found this ice featherlight just minding its own business, so I knocked it out, waited around for a little bit, and tamed it up. Then I found this apex thorny dragon, so after making enough apex kibble, I tamed it up as well. Day 16 started out with me heading over to the snow biome so that I can, convince the local penguin population to give me their polymer. But little did I know, the penguins were prepared this time.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, since when did penguins become strapped with nukes? Whose idea was this? Now penguins are one step closer to ruling the world. Okay, I'm taking this a bit too far. So, after spending a good bit of day 16 just farming organic polymer, I returned home to base to make myself an industrial grinder. And after getting it all set up, I did more farming. Yay me. And to wrap up day 16, I made some special kibble and made an awesome teleporter. Because man, is this thing fun to use. On the morning of day 17, I set out to tame a certain being that has killed 2 of my tames so far. The necrotic wyvern. And let me say this. Trying to tame this thing is just pain. The whole process was basically get a few shots off, die horribly, spawn back in, fly on over, get more shots off, and die again for like 30 minutes. God, I love this game. But eventually, I was able to land the final 2 shots to knock this bad boy out, and once tamed up, I can now use the powers of anime and launch spirit bombs at my enemies. Just look at this boy. It can even take out demonics. This is great. However, like most good things in this game, there's always a downside. And this boy's downside is that it can't kill primals. They're completely immune to its fire damage. Yeah, I'm going to need to think of something else to tame. And so on day 18, I set out to find the tame that would help me take down the primals and advance into the next stage of this mod, the Indominus Rex. But apparently, Ark didn't like that idea because I couldn't find a single indom throughout the entire day. But it wasn't all bad because I tamed this apex aloe. That's good for something. Yeah, no it isn't. Day 19 and my search for an indom took me to the dead island. But instead of finding what I wanted, I found this guy instead.
Oh my god!
What the hell is a skeleton rex? And why can't it shoot out bombs? Yeah, I'ma stay away from that one. And so, for the remainder of day 19, my search for an indom continued on, which led to nothing except taming this apex rex. God damn it. Day 20 was a day of celebration because I finally found a good level indom. And yes, it isn't an apex, but screw it, I'll take anything at this point. So, now that we were finally able to track this boy down, this would be the part where I would start shooting it with tranq darts to knock it out. But these guys are a little bit different. You see, in order to get one of these guys, you have to get their health low enough for them to lay an egg. And at that point, you gotta raise it up on your own. So, after we were able to get its health low enough, thanks to my dragon, we were finally able to get our hands on a good level indom egg. Day 21, and I was finally ready to get myself my first indom. But that was going to have to wait, because apparently, it's going to take 15 minutes for this egg to hatch. The hell's it doing in there? Playing some Minecraft?
Mining away. What the fuck?
Okay, now it's time for me to get my first indom. Or 3. I will happily take triplets, thank you very much. Now the only thing stopping me from taking on the primals is these boys growing up. But there was just one small problem to that. You see, I thought these guys would be able to eat regular food, but nope, they only like apex kibble. So I spent the rest of the day making apex kibble to feed to my indoms. Day 22, and I decided to take a break from raising up my indoms by taming up this omega aloe. And if you're wondering when I made the omega kibble, I forgot to record that. My bad. So, after taming the aloe, I returned back to base, and since the indoms are still growing up, for the rest of the day, I just worked on upgrading my greenhouse. Okay, that was a lie. I still did one more thing on day 22, which was tame this fabled grifficorn. And if you don't know what these guys are, they are quite possibly the fastest thing in this game. And so I began the process of knocking it out, running for my life, shooting at it more, and running for my life again. Until I finally knocked it out. And after feeding it some fabled kibble, which I forgot to record me making again, I am now officially the fastest man alive. And what better way to celebrate this achievement than to establish dominance over all dinos. And as you can see,
Now that's a lot of damage!
This is a strong boy right here. Day 23, I went out in search of love, but like most things, I failed. So instead, I decided to tame up this Omega Sarco, who was so happy to be tamed by me. And since this tame actually turned out good, I decided to continue my taming expedition by recruiting this fabled Argentavis. Once tamed up, I remembered that I have a baby indom still growing up back at my base, so I rushed back home to make sure that it was still alive. And thankfully, it was. So like the good parent I am, I left it alone for the rest of the day.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
On the morning of day 24, I found myself a light griffin, which is basically a regular griffin, but with the powers of the sun and industrial flashlights. But no amount of industrial flashlights could save it from me knocking it out. And after making some advanced elemental kibble, we have ourselves a light griffin. And man, is this boy powerful or what? Hell, it's so powerful that Ark decided I couldn't be allowed to have it and sent one of its minions to attack me. Okay, where did that parasaur come from? And why was it so stealthy? Well, that was fun. I had a light griffin for like 2 minutes. Thanks, game. I would have been more upset about this, but my indoms have fully grown up, so who cares?
Hello, darkness.
And with that fun piece of information, we are now ready to take on our first primal. And I know just the one I'm going to fight, the primal raptor. Now, I wouldn't call myself a petty person, but I still remembered what happened to me on day 3, and I'm a little upset about that. So the point I'm trying to make is I'm killing this primal raptor.
Do it! Just do it!
Oh my god, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. This is it. This is it. Oh, we earned this so badly. We earned this so badly, and you are dead. Woo! That was for my bird, asshole. Oh, we did it. We took down our first primal raptor. Man, that feels good. Day 25, I managed to find Artifacto the Great, who gives you artifacts to help craft the late game bosses. If by give you mean drops upon death. But I am a peaceful man, not a barbarian. So my dragon and I proceeded to negotiate with Artifacto. Man, I am a good negotiator. So, with this burst of confidence, I went out on a search to find friends, and the first one just happened to be Big Chungus. I then proceeded to commence the art of friendship, which involved a lot of bullets. I then found myself a light featherlight, who was also happy to be my friend. And to finish the day off, I tamed up another large purple dinosaur. Day 26, I found another primal raptor. And we had a bit of a disagreement. You see, he wanted to live, and well, I didn't want him to. So, now that our disagreement was settled, I can now finally combine all the elements. Primal blood, elemental feathers, anime, to make my first demonic kibble. With this, I can now finally tame demonic dinosaurs. Like that parasaur who killed my light griffin. But instead of a parasaur, I wanted to tame this demonic thorny dragon. And things actually started off pretty good, until I learned that this thorny dragon was an advocate for personal space.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a...
Why? Why can't I have one nice thing? Well, looks like I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. Good thing I drank 4 energy drinks, because this is gonna take a while. And on day 27, after many trank darts and brain cells were used, I was finally able to knock out the thorny dragon and tame it up. Now, I've spent a lot of resources and griffins trying to tame this thing, so this boy better be worth it. And I know just the way to test this boy out. So, I think I can safely say, this boy was worth it. Hell, it's so powerful it made my character lose his pants. Now that is what I call power. Day 28, I really didn't do much. The only thing I did was make more demonic and celestial kibble, because I wanted to tame more of them. Why wouldn't I want another fire lizard with the powers of Goku? And, you know, hell. And I also got revenge on that demonic parasaur too. Okay, never mind, today was great. Day 29 was a day where I actually got a lot of things done. It started off with me finding this celestial RG, and much like Ash Ketchum, I went straight to making this bird mine. And not long after taming this RG up, I ran into my first tier 2 boss. Now, normally when you see these things, you're supposed to run, but I happen to have a demonic fire lizard, and I also need its tribute to make more boss summoners. So, why don't we find out who's stronger? Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was easier than I thought. Hell, it was so easy, why don't we fight another origin?
What the dog doing?
Because at this point, I'm the boss now. So, once I was done lowering the origin population, I managed to stumble across a demonic monkey. So, naturally, I tamed it, and now I have the powers of explosive poop. Me after eating too much spicy tacos. And to finish off day 29, I hunted down more origin bosses. Day 30 started off with me making some origin arrows, which can knock out any creature on the map, but it also gives them roid rage. The reason why I made these arrows is because we doing some taming today, and the first thing I wanted to tame is another celestial RG, because why wouldn't I want another bird with the powers of Zeus? And if this tame is anything like the previous one, this should be easy. Okay, let's try that again. This should be... And after many failures trying to tame this thing, I was finally able to knock it out, and now we have a breeding pair of celestial RGs. So, now that we're done with taming the celestial RG and, you know, dying, I can finally move on to taming other dinos, like this celestial griffin, who's picking a fight with a mountain.
I swear to God, no!
I can respect it. Once I was done with taming the celestial griffin, I named it Thorny, because why not? And to finish off day 30, I tamed up a demonic parasaur. Day 31, I experienced the joys of parenting. If by joy you mean suffering, because I was going to raise up my own celestial RG, because I'm tired of getting abused by these birds and desire revenge. So, once I got an egg from my RG, I hatched it up, and for the first imprint, it wanted to go on a walk. But apparently by walk, it meant climb Mount Everest, because it took forever to imprint. But once it was imprinted, I named her Becky, and then I started to make some celestial kibble to, you know, keep her alive. But the game thought that would be too easy. So how about we raise up 4 celestial RGs instead? Because apparently, I forgot to take them off mating. Yay. So, in order not to go mentally insane with parenting, I left my RGs like the good parent I am to go explore. During my travels, I found another artifacto and introduced him to the concept of fire. And to finish off day 31, I took down another origin boss. On the morning of day 32, Becky had fully grown up, and I immediately took her into the battlefield, where we showed our appreciation to all wildlife by relieving them of their day jobs. Once I was done showing my appreciation to the wildlife, I then made some origin boss summoners, so I can teach them the ways of social Darwinism. The first stage is life, and the second stage is death. Even if one of the bosses is a cute penguin, I am driven to commit extinction to all origins. Not even the mustard dragon will deny me my quest, for I am the boss of the island. Well, that was fun. Time to do a metal run. Day 33, I channeled my inner Minecraft builder because I was going to make things only Elon could dream of. The first thing I made was a tech replicator, which I unlocked from killing all the origins. Using the replicator, I made myself a tech generator, and then a tech force field so my base doesn't get nuked from orbit. After I made that, the next thing I wanted to make was an S+ tech transmitter, because if you make 5 of these guys, you can scan the entire map and track down any dino you want, just like the FBI. But before I made more, I took a quick break just to tame up another demonic monkey, because why not? And to finish the day off, I made 2 more tech transmitters. Day 34, I found a celestial Therizino, who looks a lot like my sleep paralysis demons. So naturally, I tamed it, and decided to test it out against some origin bosses. And while its attack speed is quicker than my internet, it doesn't do a lot of damage. So I switched it out in favor for my demonic lizard. And if you're wondering why I'm doing more damage, it's because I messed around with the INI files, just to give my dinos that extra boost. Day 35, I was in a giving mood, so I decided to introduce Ark to the concepts of deforestation and mass extinction in a rather forceful demonstration in which attendance was mandatory. So, I don't think the game likes me very much right now. So, in order to fix that, I farmed up some rare flowers with my celestial Therizino, just like my hero, Walter White would. And once I was done with that, I resumed the extinction. Day 36, I tried to tame another fabled griffin, because my last one, he left the server. But apparently, I've been outlawed from having one. Probably because of my recent population control, because when I went to go tame the griffin, I got jumped by Skynet. Needless to say, this left me pretty miffed. You could even say I was a little vexed. So to fix this, I tracked down a primal raptor and introduced him to the wonders of death, rather painfully. But apparently Ark was a fan of my blood sacrifice, because not even 5 minutes later, I found another fabled griffin, and this time I was finally able to tame it. Day 37 started off with me making more origin arrows, because I wanted to tame a celestial ferox, aka the Hulk, but with more fur. Oh god, he's a furry! And after shooting the celestial ferox with an origin arrow, I was able to feed it some celestial kibble and tame it up. Now, not only is this thing fast and has a body that can rival the Rock, but it's also a fan of explosives. I guess you could say he has a explosive temper. And after a little bit of some live explosive testing, I found a male demonic thorny dragon and tamed it up. And to finish off day 37, I made 2 more tech generators and restocked my metal supply. Day 38 started off with my thorny dragons, getting down to business, because I wanted my own imprinted demonic thorny dragon. So after a bit of just waiting around, I got my first demonic egg, and once it hatched, I named my baby thorny dragon Heather. Man, aren't I so creative? And after feeding her some demonic kibble, I hatched up another thorny dragon and named it Karen, because she's a strong, independent dragon and demands to speak to the manager. And apparently she also demanded I build her a proper raising area. Man, Karen is so needy, just like my high school teachers. And once the raising area was built, I left my base to do some exploring, in which I tamed up this fabled ankylo. And to finish off day 38, I hunted down some artifactos and introduced them to the wonders of acupuncture. And on the morning of day 39, Heather had fully grown up. And what better way to celebrate than a field test? And the locals were so kind to volunteer as the practice dummies, or as I like to call them, sacrifices. So once I was done having my fun, I returned to base to make more thorny dragon saddles and did more field testing. Hey guys, look, I got another thorny dragon. And to finish off day 39, I tamed up another celestial ferox. On the morning of day 40, I stepped into the realm of tier 3 bosses by making my first demonic reaper summoner. And needless to say, this boss is a little hot, kind of like a volcano, which is why I brought my army of demonic thorny dragons to help take down this Lovecraft reject. And after making sure the boys were powered up, I gathered up my courage and summoned her in. Excuse me? Well, that's not good. I thought I made sure my dino was powered up, but apparently it wasn't. But thanks to my big brain, I left Patron still here. So I quickly saddled it up and ran back into the fight. Thankfully though, none of my dinos died while I was gone, and now the real fight can begin. Oh, we're gonna do it. Oh my god, that was quick. Okay. That was easier than I thought, but I'm not complaining because we just took down our first tier 3 boss. And as an added bonus, when you kill one of the bosses, you get to summon in your own tameable version. So I did just that. I summoned the Reaper in, knocked it out, tamed it up, and now I got my own Reaper from Hell. Yes, all the power is mine. Burn, burn everything. More power. Sorry about that. Day 41, I wanted to see just how powerful this demonic Reaper is, because my previous rampage wasn't enough to satisfy me. So I made up an origin boss summoner and sacrificed Happy Feet to my Reaper. So, I think it's safe to say that my demonic Reaper is just, a little strong. Well, back to killing more dinos. Day 42, I went out on a quest for friendship, and I was able to stumble upon this Celestial Rex, who was so happy to be my friend. Just ignore the screams. Once I was done with my quest, I named one of my Celestial RGs Lightweight, and then for the rest of Day 42, my RG and I did some roleplay, where we took on the role of God and smited our enemies.
What the dog? Tasty.
I'm feeling real good about my life right now. And on the morning of day 43, I no longer felt good about my life, because I was going to fight the second tier 3 boss, the Celestial Indom. And let's just say I was a little nervous, you know, just a tad, because from the very limited information I know, the Celestial Indom can shoot explosive spikes from its butt, and can summon in its own celestial army to make me pay my taxes. My only weakness, the IRS. Okay, I think I stalled this fight off for long enough. It's time to take down this Celestial Indom.
You better!
Oh my god. Okay, that was a fight. Think I'm gonna have to get some more aspirin after that, but it was worth it, because we now have the Celestial Indom Soul, and we can summon in our own tameable version, which is exactly how day 43 ended, with me taming up my own Celestial Indom and taking it for a spin. Day 45, I got into the Ark Factory mod, which allows me to make items that can passively farm up artifacts, and once I made the items necessary for farming up artifacts, I completely forgot about them and spent the rest of day 45 hunting down more origins for their tributes and tamed a demonic monkey. Day 45 started off with me fighting an artifacto, but while fighting him, he left. The man dipped and is now in the back rooms. So, moving on from that, I was able to track down another artifacto and kill it for its artifacts, and with that, I could finally get the Ark Factory mod to work. Yeah, this is a little OP. Ah well, might as well abuse it while I can. So I made up a bunch of origin summoners and proceeded to teach them the lessons of life and how everything eventually returns to the soil. And with those lessons completed, I amassed a good bit of tributes. So I made the summoners for both tier 3 bosses and taught them both the wonders of being irrelevant. And to finish off day 45, I got myself another demonic Reaper and Celestial Indom. Day 46, I used my immense wealth of tributes to summon in numerous demonic reapers and celestial indoms, and shared with them an important message, and that message was death. And when I wasn't killing them, I persuaded them to be my friend by promising I won't kill them. Now that is what I call a deal. And to finish off day 46, I finally fixed my game settings so that I can level up my dinos 300 times. Now this is what I call power. Day 47 was the day I advanced into the next tier of this mod by taking on the Spirit Guardian. And this boss is a heavenly dragon, ready to guide me to the afterlife, and it's pretty painful. But I had a plan. I was gonna use my celestial indom spike attack to keep it grounded and let my demonic reapers melt its HP away. And after a long battle, we showed this Spirit Guardian the true meaning of a crusade. Whoo! Now that is what I'm talking about. Not so tough now, are ya, dragon? And with this victory, we unlock the Spirit Orb, which allows me to tame up Spirit Dinos. And since this fight went so well, I figured I might as well fight the Chaos Guardian. Because the only difference between the two is that the Chaos Guardian breathes hellfire. But trust me, it's not as epic as it sounds. On the morning of day 48, I removed the Ark Factory mod, because like I said, it was OP. And the next thing I did was make myself a Spirit Orb, because I wanted to tame me a Spirit Dino. And after a long journey to the north, I was able to find myself a Spirit Rex. And once I tamed it up, I spent the rest of day 48 giving the local population a live demonstration of my new Spirit Rex. I love being OP. Day 49, I made the boss summoner for Artifacto, the Ascendant, because with a name like that, he's just asking for it. So once I found a good area to fight him, I summoned him in, and man is he thick. But since I now have the powers of anime, I was going to turn Artifacto the Ascended into Artifacto the Extinct. Okay, that's what I get for talking shit. But it doesn't matter because my Spirit Rex was able to kill him. And in terms of artifacts, the man delivers. And to finish off day 49, I did the mandatory origin killing. On the morning of day 50, I stumbled upon a fabled unicorn. And as any sane person would do when seeing a unicorn, I shot it with an arrow and tamed it up. And just look at this thing. It's so majestic. And I'm already bored. So to cure my boredom, I tamed up a discount droidica and tested it out. And yes, it may not be the strongest creature, but by God, can it roll. Day 51 started out with me doing some standard exploring when I spotted it, a spirit bee, and I knew straight away that I had to tame it. And if you're wondering why I needed to, here's my answer.
You like griffins?
And memes and musical preferences aside, this boy is also pretty powerful. I always knew bees would rule the world. And for the rest of day 51, I tamed up a Chaos Rex, who was pretty good, and also a Chaos Stylocolio, who was also pretty good. But sadly, they were not as powerful as Jazz. And on the morning of day 52, I decided I am done living the caveman life. And by life, I mean living under a rock. Some aquatic creatures may enjoy this life, but I don't. So from day 52 all the way to day 54, I went to work building my base. And oh boy, was this base expensive. But after a lot of patience and migraines, I was able to build my dream base. And let me just say, it turned out pretty good. Day 55 was the day I set out to tame the big man himself, the Skeleton Rex. I mean, just look at this thing. Why wouldn't I want to tame it? And the only thing I need to tame it is a bone. Who am I to judge? Well, now that I have this bad boy, I think the first order of business is to test this bad boy out. And I know just the way I'm going to do it. And that's by fighting Skynet. Now, unlike its movie counterpart, this Skynet isn't interested in world domination. The only thing this version is interested in is removing my head from my body in a variety of ways, such as biting, more biting, and the occasional nuke. But I have a Skeleton Rex that deals godly damage. So I think it's time I show this overgrown toaster what true terror is. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Day 56, I decided I was going to fight the Spirit Guardian again, because I love punishment, and I also wanted my own tameable version of it. But before I fight it again, I did some rebalancing of my dino stats, just to make these boss fights a little bit harder. And by that, I mean my indom now hits as hard as a wet sponge, my demonic reaper died, then I died, then my spirit rex decided to return to God, and was left to fight the Spirit Guardian alone, which took all the way to day 57 to finally bring it down. And thankfully, a tameable version did spawn in, so once I knocked it out, I quickly made up a spirit orb, and once it was all tamed up, I immediately took it for a spin. And by spin, I mean payback, because I lost a good bit of my dinos fighting that Spirit Guardian, and I deserve some happiness. So I summoned in some origin dinos to be my new punching bags, and killed another celestial indom and demonic reaper. And once I had my fill, I looked into what I need to do to fight my next opponent, Nova the Destroyer. And the list of things I need is longer than my attention span, so I spent the rest of day 57 getting everything ready I need to fight Nova. And on the morning of day 58, we were ready to fight our first tier 5 boss. Armed with the powers of Dragon Ball, Nova the Destroyer is a fierce opponent, ready to turn all who oppose her into a boneless Peter Griffin, or just straight up disintegrate them by launching explosive suns. But since I have the aerial superiority, my spirit dragon and I made quick work of this emo turkey and proved that we are the true destroyers. And with this victory, we can now raise up our own Nova. So I quickly got to work on making some air conditioners, and after some waiting around, we now have our own baby Nova. And while waiting for Nova to fully grow up, I went to work sacrificing some celestial indoms. Yeah, this is going to become a trend, isn't it? And on day 50, Nova had fully grown up. So once I got her to max level, Nova and I channeled our Christmas spirit and spread pain and suffering to the wildlife, whether they were ready or not. And yes, that includes the origin bosses as well. Day 60 started out with the usual origin killing, and then the rest of the day was spent hunting down some artifactos, because I was getting ready to fight my second tier 5 boss, Pikkon the Creator. And on day 61, after getting everything all set up, we were ready to take on Pikkon the Creator. Now don't let Pikkon's noodle physique fool you, because this boy is strong. So strong that he forgot to attack for half the fight. But eventually he remembered that this was a boss battle and started to attack back. He brought his freshly ordered drones, rained down meteors, summoned radiation straight from Twitter. Now this was the fight I expected, but there was just a slight problem, and that was that I was very hungry at this time. In fact, I think I could go for some seafood right now. So how about I turn Pikkon the Creator into Pikkon the Filleted? Oh, now that was cutting it close. Thankfully, Nova did survive, and just like before, I got myself another boss egg. So I spent the rest of day 61 raising up my new Pikkon. Day 62, Pikkon had finally finished growing up, and I wanted to see if this bad boy lives up to the hype. And I can safely say yes. Yes, it did. I mean, it's a giant fish that can summon explosions and cosmic meteors. If only my goldfish was like this. And to finish off day 62, I tamed up my replacement Spirit Rex. Day 63 was the day we got closer to the end of this mod by taking on our first tier 6 boss. And our first opponent would be the Fire Colossus. Its main arsenal consists of fire, more fire, and you guessed it, fire. But if you ask me, I think Nova and I are the true bosses here, because we are absolutely shredding this man. So for a guy called the Fire Colossus, I gotta say, he's pretty mid. And upon his defeat, we got the Fire token, which is just one of 4 we need to collect in order to fight Pikkon's Revenge. But this is where Primal Fear starts to get a bit repetitive, because in order to fight the next Colossus, I first need to farm up an absolute shit ton of origin tributes, need to fight both Celestial Indom and Demonic Reaper 4 times, and both Nova and Pikkon, just to fight another Colossus. So, in order not to bore you showing the same stuff all over again, I'm just going to fast forward to day 72, when we were finally ready to fight our next Colossus. And the only thing interesting that happened during that time was that I tamed another Spirit Wyvern. And for my second tier 6 boss fight, I chose the Caustic Colossus. And if you're like me and had no idea what caustic meant, in simple terms, it's a corrosive and harmful substance. So basically I'm fighting my channel. But in all seriousness, this boss fight was pretty easy, especially when the boss just decides to walk away from the fight. And you know what? I don't blame him. And with his defeat, we now only need 2 more tokens to fight Pikkon's Revenge. But as I said before, getting those 2 other tokens can be pretty boring. But instead of just skipping over everything, I got something a bit more fun in mind. And that something is putting together a montage, baby. Let's go.
Oh yeah! Good boy.
What the dog doing?
Mining away.
Oh, what the fuck?
Baba Bowie.
The Fitness Grand Pacer test is a...
You're mad! I'm back!
Yeah, boy.
The One Piece!
That's pretty good.
That's a lot of damage!
On.
I swear to God, no! No!
Man, I'm dead.
And after killing the last regular Pikkon, we were finally ready to fight the final boss of Primal Fear. And as my montage showed you, the process of getting here was painful, but somehow I was able to grind my way through it, and only Pikkon's Revenge stands in the way of me beating this mod. And I didn't come all this way just to lose. So after getting all my most powerful dinos ready, we were ready to take on Pikkon's Revenge. Coming in at a whopping 21 billion health, Pikkon's Revenge truly truly deserves the title of Final Boss. He can summon in meteors, summon in evil versions of your tames, and is overall a absolute menace. But as I said, I didn't come all this way just to lose. I'm going to beat this mod, and no Godzilla wannabe is going to stop me. So how about we kick his ass?
Be gone, fuck!
Ah! Well, there goes one Nova. Now that is what I call a boss fight. We actually did it. We were able to beat all of Primal Fear in 100 days. And was it worth it? Maybe. But I did get this cool club as a reward, but I don't think it'll be that...
Now that's a lot of damage!
Okay, never mind. It's amazing. So, now that we've fully completed this mod, I just want to say thank you guys for watching the entire video. And if you did end up enjoying my terrible humor, hopefully you stick around for future videos. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Take care.